I really want to tell you all a great story. Well, sort of great. So far this channel's just been Bats and Smash, but I also love punk music. That said, I got to meet Ian MacKaye from Fugazi. Fugazi was my favorite band in high school. Don't feel bad if you don't know who Fugazi is. A lot of people don't. But they're an incredible band that altered entirely the way I see music, the way, the power that a band can have, you know, and they're loved, and they stand for something. Fugazi was like the first band I knew that actually stood for something. And I thought that was really incredible. They're very political. They were from DC. They even played on the White House lawn during Desert Storm. And once again, like almost all my favorite bands, they were well dead by the time I found them. I became obsessed. I started looking into their history and everything they'd ever done and what they stood for. You know, Ian MacKaye, the person that we're going to be talking about, built a record label from the ground up. Just like as a teenager, he started making his own records because he knew that to be a rock star and get on a label like was damn near impossible. So that was like kind of the whole idea behind punk, was like, well, we don't have to get on a label, we're just going to do it anyway. We're going to make music anyway and tour and all of that. But yeah, this is about Ian, and he's one of the lead singer and guitarist for Fugazi. He went from Teen Idols to Minor Threat to Embrace to Fugazi. Minor Threat's its own animal with its own history, but yeah, pretty incredible. And then Ian, while in Minor Threat, accidentally started what is Straight Edge, which when I was in high school had a resurgence and was all very scary and weird. Anyway, this person who I absolutely admire, if I were to call anybody my hero, it would be this man, just because it's like what I'm passionate about. Did what I was passionate about in a time that probably felt like
impossible. So yeah, anyway, I get a chance to meet him.
And as a side note, 7 years ago, my best friend bought me a Fugazi blanket, which has Ian's face on my bed. And then I picked it up this year, because we're bad at giving each other gifts. Wait for it. Wait for it. There he is. By God, by God. Anyway, if you can't tell, I'm editing my videos, or practicing my editing to make videos. Yeah. That's gonna be a way that we're gonna tell our story. How about we break into a little bit of stock footage montage to practice using stock images. I farted. It's 2013-14. I go with my then girlfriend to a Evens show. The Evens are the band that Ian created after Fugazi. It was a duo, him and the girl he would marry in the future. I don't remember her name. I'm not an Evens fan. Sorry, I'll put it in post. Anyway, I can say that. That's funny. Yeah, so we missed most of the show. I think we only caught like 3 songs. But Ian doesn't need to know that. For all he knows, I was there the whole time. So don't tell him. And as soon as the show's over, I pranced, I galloped, I rushed up to him and asked him for a picture. Now, this is a little cloudy, but I annoyed him right away. I don't know if I interrupted a conversation he was having, or if I butted in a line, or... there was a line for merch, but he wasn't yet selling anybody anything or at the table. But he said to me, I am going to help all these people who are trying to buy stuff, and once they're all taken care of, I'll get with you. And I said, okay, I was a little hurt and taken aback. I had no money to buy something. I felt guilty that I was asking for something without buying anything. But this is also kind of strange because Fugazi, that was one of the things they stood for. It's like they were anti-materialism. You are not what you own. Calling America out for being consumers, all that kind of stuff. So it was a little strange. But yeah, and this time I got to see him interact with fans, which was kind of cool. I remember there was a kid there who was telling him how he had overpaid to Discord buying their stuff, and Discord mailed him back like $1.12, and he was very moved, or something like that, whatever. And anyway, line is finished. Ian looks over, and I'm still there. Yeah, still standing there, Ian. And so he unenthusiastically moseys his way over to me and says, "Hey, let's take this picture." And I said, "Okay, my boyfriend will take it. Keep in mind, I'm nervous, man. Like, he's my hero." And I accidentally called Becca a boy, and I might have laughed, but no one else did. And he looked very angry, like I should apologize immediately for offending the poor girl. Of course I didn't, and we take the picture. And you can tell by Ian's expression how he feels. And, you know, it's a great picture. I love it. I'm like, "Hey, this fucking guy." And he's like, "Look at this fucking guy. It's perfect. It's great," you know. And, yeah, we ended up leaving. And the whole thing was just so surreal, you know. I was so stoked. I got to finally see him in the flesh. This living, breathing person who did all this stuff, you know. My hero, and he hates my guts? What the fuck? It was wild. But yeah. It occurred to me that I left out a very important part of the story. And then I also think that this is going to have to be in a few different parts in order to tell the whole story and not have it be huge. So I'll take you back to right after Ian took that picture with me. So there I was, face to face with Ian, and it suddenly occurred to me that I could make this daydream that I'd always had come true, possibly. I said, "Ian, I wrote you a song. Can I please send it to you?" And he looked very weirded out, and he said, "Sure." I said, "Okay, where should I send it?" And there was a moment there where I could tell he didn't want to give any personal information out, and I didn't have any ideas, and so we just looked at each other awkwardly, scanning our brains for ideas, and I said, "Can I send it to Discord?" And he said, "Sure." I was like, "All right, you'll get it?" And he's like, "Yeah," or something like that. I think he's like, "Yeah, I think so, just address it to me." And I said, "Okay." And then 10 years go by. And I don't think much of it. I never sent him the music. I didn't really have a whole lot of confidence that he would get it or listen to it. But that's not the reason I didn't do it. I just never did, you know. Too lazy, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of a fun story. Trying to think of where to break this. I figured it out. We're gonna do past, present, future. To start part 2, we're gonna segue into why we're even talking about it again, and that's may or may not find interesting. Thanks for tagging along. Like, I don't know what this filter is. Anyway, I saw another crazy thing. Just another example of what an impression this person has made on my life. My closest girlfriend, my closest friend that was a female through junior high and high school, she ended up getting pregnant and having a baby and naming it Ian, because I made her a Fugazi fan by proxy. And she knows how fucking amazing Ian MacKaye is. And then we ended up getting together, and I raised this kid like he was my own son for 4 years. He still kind of feels like a son to me, sensitive subject. But yeah, potty trained him, put him in kindergarten, was a stay-at-home dad with him. His name was Ian, named after this man. It's crazy. The video number 1 is the past. There's only one more thing we gotta go over. That is past-like, and that's the song that I wrote for Ian. So over a decade ago, basically between the years of like 2005 and 2013, I just like learned how to record music on a computer, and I went nuts. Like, I always had song ideas. I've always had pieces of song ideas, hundreds of pieces of song ideas, and I always record stuff and on my phone or whatever when I'd have an idea. But I loved it. I was just crazy about it. Probably the biggest passion I've ever had. And ended up recording 4 full-length albums and 5 EPs and a bunch of others that never got finished. And yeah, and then yeah, the rest of my life happened and I just stopped. But The song that I wrote for Ian, it was a part of an experiment album, or like a concept album, based off of this book. Wow! This is my favorite book. It's called Our Band Could Be Your Life by Michael Azerrad. The album I made is called The Azerradic Pages, which is cheesy as hell, yeah. And it's basically a book that has 13 chapters. Every chapter is about one of my favorite bands. It's like, I feel like this book was written for me. Look at those bands. Oh my god, beautiful. And the idea was I'd read a chapter about, say, Mission of Burma, and as soon as I was done with it, I'd take everything, all that inspiration and those Mission of Burma feelings, and I run right into the studio, and I try and compose something right then and there that felt like Mission of Burma, the way they made me feel. I do like my best impression while at the same time, like there's no way I can even come close to any of these guys. Like, they're amazing. Filtered through my inability as a musician, and also my perspective on how I saw those bands. And after the Fugazi chapter, I wrote Starstruck Fan Letter, which the lyrics are me singing to Ian. And never in a million years did I think that he would ever hear it, you know. Think to myself, how cool would it be if someday he actually heard this, it's though he was reading fan mail, but it's a song. So yeah, that's that. I'm gonna wrap the video here. But yeah, we're having fun. We're having fun over here.
I have something called a God box. When something in life is too much for me and it's out of my control, and I need to give it to God. And
physically do a representation of Al. Write whatever it is on a piece of paper and I'll put it in this box. And it doesn't have resistance, I've been covered. But like, check it out. It's on my God box.
Boys everywhere.
Because I got a bunch of punk stuff. There's Henry Rollins on television. But I thought that was cool too.
Boys everywhere. You can see, he's important to me. I start rambling in regards to YouTube. It's a lot of work. This is taking so much time. And it's like, considering like the low quality of the video and how much time it's taking me, I do have a lot more respect for YouTubers, and how I just like a lot of appreciation for editing, because editing is awesome. So yeah, apologies in the ways that this video is lazy, because there's definitely some ways that it's lazy, but I'm proud of it because it's definitely the most effort I put into any sort of social media thing. So yeah, I think it's a good place to cut. Shit. Now I'm going on too long, and so I'm gonna have to edit. Anyway, oh, I had that's gonna be weird as hell later, but yeah. Okay, bye. See you next